Hi, everyone. Poot the Bard. Before we start this episode, I want to let you know I apologize for the audio quality this time. It's highly compressed. It kind of sounds weird, and I'm a little bit louder than the other dum-dums on here, and that's because I didn't set up the recording correctly, so I had to do a lot of post-editing jiggery-pokery to make it work. But still, another episode of Breaking Kayfabe. Hey, ring bell. Do your thing.
The Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast is...
Oops, I'm breaking the fourth wall.
Breaking Kayfabe.
Hello there,
Introverted verse at this point.
Ruined it, damn it, you've ruined it.
Hello, interthing. Hello, intercontinental people.
We gotta stop him, otherwise he's gonna go all night.
Hello,
It's fine,
inter-office emails.
Yeah, hello, interplanetary beastie boys. You're gonna listen here to me with my words tell you about an episode of Breaking Kayfabe that we're doing right here and now today. It's not going to go well, as you can clearly see.
It's going to go all the goods now.
Oh,
we got them all out.
All
Hey,
the goods.
it's the Breaking Kayfabe episode of the faces. We've got Beef the face, we got Poot the Bard face, and we got Mushmouth and Alec Ransom here. It's not going to go good here.
Mubba mush bamoutha.
Yeah, butter garlic wings.
So,
Oh man.
Is that a thing?
How about
okay, I have to jump in here on this immediately, because if we don't, we're going to start out with our standard COVID-19 talk, and I don't want to do that. Let's save that for later. So,
okay.
I've had a little bit of time with Animal Crossing.
How is that?
Okay. I get it.
Oh.
And I enjoy it, and it's like, it's one of those things that other people I know, and I think most of the people I know who are playing it are deemed non-essential workers, so they're at home. And they've sunk a lot of hours into it. I have not. I've sunk a couple hours into it, and it really is a cutesy diabetic version of what it's like to be an adult.
Oh.
You get a home loan, and you have a home loan you have to pay off.
Okay.
You have to go forage for your sustaining things, i.e. going to Walmart. Like, not literally, but it's like going out and collecting resources and stuff to sell and earning. But the thing that I like is the currency and the... Oh, here's a good thing. It just popped into my head. I'm going off on a tangent already. Poot style. So, in video games, we have so many different versions of currency. In Animal Crossing, it's called bells. Bells are your currency. Okay? Like, what is your favorite video game currency there's ever been?
Caps.
Oh, that's a hard one to beat.
Caps are really good. But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, you can't. I'm of course right now I'm having, you know, I'm struggling to think of something that would compete with that. I mean, I don't know. Ransom wins.
okay, no, it's not about winning. It's a personal
1, 2, 3,
opinion.
KO wins. Ransom wins.
Ransom wins. No, the I personally like. I personally really like, and I'm going off that it is a video game. It's a browser game. I don't know if you remember it or not, Beef. You probably do. It's called Kingdom of Loathing.
Yeah, man.
Meat.
Yeah, man.
Dude, yeah, no, man. Yeah, man. Kingdom of Loathing, meat. It's the best. I love it. I love that currency. it's just hilarious because I like the idea of carrying around T-bone steaks and going, how many meat is that? 526 meat. Okay, hold on.
Oh.
I just like the idea of that.
Yeah, that may also, that also wins. And I'm the boring one because all I can fucking think about is fucking rupees, man. Like that's the standard bearer. That's fucking Zelda.
There's rupees, coins, rings, caps.
I mean,
bells,
coins and
meat.
rings aren't really currency, to be fair.
What is it?
Rings are almost your lifeblood, to be fair. Like rings are basically your life. So I mean that's certainly not currency. I don't think, unless I mean, well, I don't know. It's a fine line, to be fair. I don't know. Coins, you collect them, but you don't really use them. Well, I guess in the latter Mario games you can use them, right, to buy things.
Yeah, they're also your health in the latter Mario games.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I guess. Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay.
I mean, it's probably bottle caps.
Yeah, caps. Yeah.
What the hell? I was out. Brittany and I were playing Pokemon Monopoly on Sunday, and I was trying to instead of her saying dollars, I tried to keep getting her to say and I don't remember the name of them now. Like
yen,
zennies or zippies or
zippies. You sound like a mom going like, "Oh, do you want to play your Nintendo?" Zubaz?
It's Zubov.
Zubov.
But, I mean,
wow.
So like, it's funny to have this conversation because I kept saying that to her and it never caught on, but it's broken.
Oh, what's broken?
Where are you going with this, Poot, about the money?
No, I'm just saying, it just kind of popped into my head because I really like, in Animal Crossing, I like the currency bells. I don't know why. It just kind of like, It feels neat. But Animal Crossing...
Only if there are like giant collections of them called whistles, so you have your bells and your whistles.
Oh, why isn't that a thing? And Nintendo, get on that shit. No, the thing with Animal Crossing is, it's one of those games that you play and you go, this is kind of boring. I'll only play for another 2 hours. It's one of those games. Dude, it's one of those games that, like, you don't understand why you keep playing it, but you just want to.
That's Fallout 4 for me.
Have you ever had... We have this weird bottle of, like, this aloe drink. Have you seen those? The aloe drinks? They're like Beef is so confused by me right now. But like it's this bottle of like sweet liquid, like it's like water, I guess, and then it has like chunks of aloe floating in it.
No,
exactly. But it's the video game equivalent of that because I took a drink of it. Oh, I went, oh, this is awful. I gotta have more.
Oh.
It's weird. It's the weirdest thing where it's like you don't understand why you're playing it. Like, what's the end goal here? What's the end game? There really is no end game. It's just to make a life for yourself on this deserted island. And you're just going about your business. And it's just addictively fun.
Do you get to create your own ridiculously cute animal as a character?
You're a person.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, now hold on. You do get to customize. They have a design like design editor, like a logo editor. It's a grid, and you can make your own pixel art T-shirts and stuff. You should see some of the shit people have made. It's incredible.
But you don't get to design how you make. You're just a generic ass looking person.
Well, no, you get to you're a person, and you get to pick your nose and pick your hair and pick your, eyes and pick, that kind of stuff.
Pick your nose.
They don't have a bald option, by the way, and that makes me sad.
Is Villager from Super Smash Brothers from Animal Crossing?
Yes.
Ah, fuck that. Boo. Boo. I'd rather
my.
be a fucking cute-ass raccoon.
Oh, dear.
Okay, Beef's a furry.
Oh, no.
Hashtag
Beef's
confirmed. Beef's a
He's
furry.
the coon from South Park.
The kid.
Or a fucking... Or
The kid.
a fucking badass manta ray or something, you know?
I'm gonna
like,
go.
you know.
Good Lord.
I'm gonna go through here. I'm gonna save this village.
You know what I'd be, oh god, what the fuck was his name from Beast Wars?
Okay.
The fucking, like, half scorpion, half cobra.
Oh, dear.
What are you talking about?
Sidewinder. Yeah, man.
Sidewinder's a map in Halo.
You are
Oh, man.
a nightmare
man.
human being.
So you're telling me you don't remember from
No,
Beast
man.
Wars, Sidewinder?
I don't think I watched
He was
Beast
like a
Wars.
country... Really? Oh.
Nah.
What? Pooh, you've never watched Beast Wars?
Nah.
He's so outraged.
Nah.
Oh my god. How can I call you people my friends?
Oh, dear.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have
Excommunicated.
taste. Beef must have the COVID. He doesn't have any taste.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Jesus.
Shots fired.
Gross.
No,
Anyway, Animal Crossing, go on.
but no, like my point was, it's worth. Here's my statement. If someone says, "Is it, is it worth it?" and I go, "No, you should rephrase that. Is it worth it? Yes."
Oh.
Like, it's one of those things that, like, if you need
Questioning
a really good time waster, it's almost like it has that Minecraft effect to it. Now, obviously, Minecraft is a whole different thing because you can just, like, it's Lego the game, basically.
Yeah.
But,
you can
like-
make whatever the hell you want to make, right?
Exactly. And, like, that's one thing. But it has that Minecraft effect to where you're, like, you just keep going. You're dumped into a world, like, I mean, there's a little bit of a thread of, like, you buy into basically a timeshare, and, like, you're on a deserted island, and then you take out a loan. Instead of a tent, you have a house, and now you have to pay off this home loan. And, like, you can go to, like, other randomly generated deserted islands to forage for, like, things that aren't indigenous to your island, and you can go to your friends' islands and see what they have. And it's like, it really is, like, it has that feel, that like, that underlying thread of, like, what am I doing? I don't know, but I'm having fun. So there you go. That's my take on Animal Crossing. Is it, like, if you, I would wait for it to be on sale personally, but it's worth it.
Like, the
It's worth
bullshit
it.
that you make on your island, is it, like, highly customizable, or is it all like, generic?
See, and that's the problem. I can't answer this question because if I say anything other than you can dig into the code and make whatever you want, you're going to be upset.
What do you mean, dig into the code and make whatever? What the fuck are you
Like
talking about?
highly customized. I mean, there's a crafting element to it. There's, like, your house, you can highly personalize. There's shit tons of items in the game to, like, customize your house with. There's tons of clothing.
But everybody's like island and house looks the same.
No, like, well, I haven't played enough to know, like, how far you can expand your house, but you basically get starting, they give you, like, I think six starting island patterns to choose from, and then every time you leave your island and fly to a randomly generated one, it is absolutely randomly generated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's, like I said, I think you would enjoy it, Beef.
The more highly customizable that I can get, the better. Like, that's what stops me playing a lot of games, is that I'm spoiled by Fallout. Like, and now, like, with Fallout 76, like, being able to build bases and shit, like, I just, if I can't customize my character, if I can't customize where I live, like, I immediately lose interest. The Witcher, done. I played for 5 minutes, I was like, oh, I don't get to do anything. Done.
Oh, dear.
Monster Hunter World, I played enough to create my character, and then I was like, this is stupid. Done. Like, I need a highly customizable some
Customizable.
shit, man. You heard me. Customizable.
All right.
What was that from the peanut gallery?
She's making fun of me.
Oh, well, you know.
I have a license that says I'm allowed.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you literally signed and sealed by the government. No, but that's the thing is, like, I think it has just enough customizability for you that you would like it.
Okay.
I really do. And
I mean, I'm already pissed off that I can't be like a blue koala, so, like, that's a...
That's strike one.
Like, yeah, that's strike one. Like, I don't want to be a stupid human. I'm a stupid human in real life trying to pay off my fucking, like, you know, my apartment and shit. So, like, I don't want to do that.
Well, that's the rub. You're never going to pay off your apartment.
Yeah, ain't that the fucking case.
But I think you guys would enjoy it, and I honestly think Adam... Oh, well, we're breaking kayfabe. No, like,
Yes,
I think... Yes?
Yes.
Would you like my social security number as well?
Just your date of birth. That's all.
Okay, DOB.
Actually, if I can have you fill out this survey on Facebook about the first time you did all this stuff, I'll have enough information there where I can just rob what you got.
My date of birth, Pootmas is coming up soon.
And
and actually,
your first pet. Where was the favorite place to go vacationing as a child? Wait a minute, these are all security questions for secure websites. What's happening?
that's why I
I'm
never
gonna fill it out because it's Facebook.
see. That's why I always answer the question with something absurd.
Well, that and because you're an absurd person.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Agreed.
Oh,
Oh yes. Why do you talk that way? I had a stroke.
That is true.
But no, I would say, like, the kids would really like it. I think your kiddos would love it. And I think, honestly, watching them play it, you'd be like, I want to make my own character.
no.
Like, I think you would. Like, it's a lot of fun.
No, kids. This is Daddy's playtime. Go away.
That is playtime.
I already get frustrated with Micah watching him play Breath of the Wild. I'm like, no, you're doing it wrong. You gotta do this.
How does a child
Just give me that
of
controller.
how does a child of Micah's age play that game?
Not well. So
Sounds like he
there's
did
that.
pretty well in Skyrim, though. I mean, you know, he was blasting people with magic and stuff. So you know,
I mean that's because I
Who's
downloaded a bunch
Rhoda?
of mods for Skyrim, and I started him. I gave him one of my like already set up characters to use. That way he had a lot of health, a lot of good
Stamina.
armor and weapons.
Yeah.
But every time I'd turn around, he'd be taking off my royal vampire armor that boosts up his magic, and freaking he'd be wearing like leather armor and be carrying around an iron war axe. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Be like, Daddy, it's Minecraft.
I'm like, I gave you all this awesome stuff, and you're carrying around a stick. That's what he does in Zelda. Like, the one I got him the freaking the hero's tunic.
Oh.
The blue shirt that's the most powerful or the most damage resistant thing in the game. And I got him the soldier's greaves because he's just starting out. But I boosted up all this stuff for him. And then I turn around and he's wearing the stupid freaking Nintendo T-shirt that gives you 1 damage resistance. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I keep dying. Can you tell me why I keep dying? I'm like, well, yeah, because you're wearing a T-shirt and shorts.
Well, I mean, to be fair.
To be
To be fair, look at how your wife created wrestlers on WWE. Whatever. Fucking
Yeah,
like
blue jeans
spiky
and a spike
hair.
bracelet.
Yep, spike bracelet, bead necklace, spiky hair, and John Cena entrance. Every damn one of them, and jorts.
So she made she made Punk John Cena.
Yeah, edgy,
She basically
John
made a
Cena.
different version of John Cena. She made a blonde-haired spike bracelet-wearing version of John Cena with long pants.
What the hell is his name?
Lex.
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 Not good.
Oh my!
Her finisher was to pin off the botch.
Every damn time.
Or if we were playing Day of Reckoning, it was pinning off the betrayal.
Yep.
Because every time Beef and I were on a team and he'd spear me, here she'd come
619.
running from across the ring, diving on me for the pin. I'm like, no!
Well, that's what you get whenever you have a stupid, like the stupid JBL powerbomb that takes 4 minutes, or the the damn sweet chin music that takes like 15 minutes to wind up. Like, what do you want me to do? No, I'm a creature of chaos. This is you reap what you sow, you monster.
Damn it all! I could never do a finisher. That always took too long. Beef would get impatient and run into the ring and gore me.
I really wish there was a time when I was going to school and I was looking at music schools that I ended up going to Lock Haven. I really wanted to go to Clarion. I never would have graduated.
I would never have graduated.
I never would have graduated.
Enough classes staying home playing Day of Reckoning with Beef.
Yeah.
Like.
Let me tell you how the tag team matches would go in that. We would jack up the difficulty of the computer character to like hard or hardest, and it was always Beef and I against Tara and her generic John Cena character and a random computer character, usually John Cena. So it was usually generic John Cena and John Cena versus the two of us.
So wait, which one's the real John Cena?
The John Cena. Tara was the fake John Cena.
Yeah, but the rub was we always got to pick our partner, so it was because otherwise it would always be just John Cena and John Cena. Like no, we ain't doing that.
So Beef and I got so good at that game because we played it all the damn time that even on the hardest computer level we could still whoop the computer's ass. Tara wasn't great at it because she's not a video game person. So we would pretty much whoop them the whole match, except when Beef would get on the tears of goring everybody in the ring. And when I mean everybody, I mean a tornado tag match where everybody's in the ring, and I usually took the first one and the last one. And every time Beef would get into one of these things where he'd just start goring everyone, he'd gore Tara, me, the computer, me, Tara, me, and then after he gored me the last time, he would try to gore somebody else, but he miscalculated, and he'd end up diving out of the ring. So while I'm laying... Yeah, the heave had ended. So while I was laying battered and broken in the middle of the ring, Beef would dive out of the ring and concuss himself, and Tara would come in and pin me. Every time. We lost so many times because Beef would just spear me and then dive out of the ring and hurt himself, and Tara would just come waltzing over. Boom, 1, 2, 3, damn it.
I think one of my favorite memories from Day of Reckoning was in one of our matches, somebody started climbing up an invisible cage. It wasn't a cage match. We just did a regular tag match. It wasn't even a tornado. It was just a tag match. And in the middle of the match, somebody started climbing up the invisible cage in the middle of the match, and we're like, okay.
And then they got to the top, and as soon as they got to the top to pull themselves up on the top of the cage, they just fell down onto the floor.
With that terrible sound, yeah.
Oh, it was the glitchiest game ever, but my God, was it fun.
Right?
They were fun glitches that made it well worth playing.
They weren't glitches, they were features.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was something like that.
No, man, it ain't made by Bethesda, so they're not features, they were actually bugs.
Oh, poor Bethesda.
Finish a fucking game. That's not poor Bethesda. Finish a fucking game, you fucking twats.
Oh
wow. Okay.
All right.
Well then.
Okay.
As I sit here playing Fallout 76, son of a bitch.
Finish it.
Fucking.
Finish him.
We never. The only game that I was gonna say we didn't really play a lot of video games at Lock Haven, but we did. Whenever Halo 2 came out, we played.
Oh, such a great game,
dude. We played. We would do the exact same thing. There was a time period there, a couple months, where we would skip classes to go over and play Halo 2 at my friend Brett's place, and we would just play the shit out of it, and we would drink 40s.
Oh dear Lord.
And play Halo 2. Then Guitar Hero came out. And Guitar Hero then became the game. And I was so unabashedly lousy at that game, it was ridiculous.
Which is weird, given that you're a fucking shredder, man.
Well, yeah, but the thing that we determined was, if you're good at something in real life, you're not good at it in a video game.
It's fair.
Like Wii bowling. I was always terrible at Wii bowling. Whenever I was bowling at my best, my average was, I think, 197. Like, I was terrible at Wii bowling. I just wish,
bowling.
like, yeah, dude, that's the thing is, like, I wish some of those because you have an easy platform on the Switch to bring back Wii Sports. Call it Switch Sports.
Yeah.
I don't care. Make it the exact same fucking thing. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was we didn't like, no one wanted to play like any of those wrestling games. No one wanted to play Day of Reckoning. No one wanted to do any of that stuff. They didn't want to do it. We played a hell of a lot of Mario Kart. Did play a lot of Mario Kart. That was a blast.
You're just friends with the wrong people.
That is not true. They're all lovely. Every single one of them.
Oh, gentle, wonderful folk.
They were all wonderful, and we had a lot of fun times I don't remember. Okay, so let me ask you guys a question. When did you guys start drinking? Are you worried about incriminating yourself?
What do you mean by start drinking? When did you have your first drink? Or
No,
when
when
were you
you're-
like, hey, I'm going to go and get sloshed on the reg?
Like when you like started being like, okay, I'm gonna start drinking. Like it's gonna be a regular part of my life. Not like you got given a beer when you were like young, or like a sip of wine or whatever.
College.
I was very, very, very cognizant though of being a teacher, and I was like, oh man, I can't dare get caught anywhere like drinking. So I was very careful whenever I was not of age. Not to say I didn't do it, but it was more rare. And when I did it, I did so safely. But yeah, once I hit like around 20, I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna drink, and I drank, and I drank, and I drank, and I drank.
What about you, Ransom?
Freshman year of college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the first time I drank, like, not like a sip of something, was one of my friends from high school had a high school graduation party at her house, and there were probably like maybe 6 or 7 of us. And that was the first time I ever like drank, and this is the worst combination, but again, we were 18, and we were at her parents' house, so we were drinking what they had. So I was drinking Mike's Hard lemonades and doing shots of Bacardi 151.
Oh my god!
No,
that's the first time I ever drank.
There were times, and Chuck, you know George Fiesler, the Fees.
Oh, the Fees.
Like, for whatever reason, George and I were thick as thieves at some point. He would call me his hetero life mate, a la Silent Bob. So like we were very, very close at points. And we would just sit in his attic and we would drink like rotten beer, fucking like Milwaukee's Best and Natty Ice.
Oh, good lord.
Wow.
Oh yeah. And like when we weren't doing that, we were doing shots of like Bacardi 151 or like just like fucking shit ass tequila. Oh my god. Oh lord. There were so many nights in his attic where I was just so fucking drunk, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? Why am I here? Why is this happening now? What's God done to us, man?
Dude, those like come to Jesus drunken nights are like those are rough nights.
So how about were you going somewhere with this poop?
Well, no, I was just I'm just kind of going with the mental poot flow, which Beef knows it's like a squirrel on crack.
Okay. Well, I didn't want to interrupt, but it's along this vein.
Sure.
What is your either worst drunk story, funniest drunk story, most drunk story? Like, if you're going to tell a story about you being drunk, what story do you tell?
I fucking hate you. You know.
Why? What do you mean?
I mean, what you're fucking angling for. Go ahead, Poot.
All right.
I'm angling to tell my own stories. I'm not angling for you, Beef.
No, like, okay, well, I have a couple that are standouts. But like,
so give me like the top 1 or top 2.
Oh man, okay. Okay, so this
I'll
one,
tell you mine.
this one,
Probably precincts weekends at for Kappas at Claremont. I bet.
that was actually one of the ones I was debating between. So I'll tell you what. One is really quick. I'll tell the Kappa one. That'll be my one, but this one's really quick. The actual night of drinking wasn't that big of a deal because I don't really remember being that bad. Like, I remember the whole night. I remember getting home. I remember the whole thing. Dude, I woke up the next day. This is, like, I woke up the next day and I, like, laid in bed and I was like, am I okay? Sat up and I'm like, all right, I'm fine. And I went out into the kitchen in my apartment at Lock Haven and I took a drink of iced tea. Immediately came back up. Like, not even like, it was like swallow back. And that's when it hit me. And I was in my shower, like sitting in my shower, like shaking. It was bad. I had a bad hangover. And like the worst part was by the time I got myself out of the shower and cleaned up and on the couch watching Dirty Jobs, just waiting for my Chinese food to get there, I had forgotten. I told my friends that I would have lunch with them, and I got 3 text messages. Dude, we ordered your food. Where are you? And I was like, oh, fuck. So I left a note on the door that said, with an envelope of money that said, here's the money for the food. Just leave it by the door. This is how far gone I was. I was like fed up. I was like, whatever. If someone steals the money, it's okay. Who cares? Like, I went and I had one bite of the burger they ordered me, and I was like, my friend Dave was like, dude, you're green. Like, and I'm like, and they got me a beer. I had one sip of beer thinking hair of the dog would help me. Nope. I had them box up my food and I was leaving. I'm cutting out a lot of the details trying to condense it. I got in my car and I'm driving home, and it's that thing where I started breathing heavily, going, okay, you can make it, blah, all over my windshield, all over my dash. I pulled off to the side of the road, rolled down the window, and started throwing up out the window. Cop rolls up next to me. And he looks at me. Now, this is day after. I was just hungover. Day after, we roll up, and I'm throwing up out the window, and I look up at the cop, and, like, my mouth is probably just covered in blood. And they look at me and just shake their heads and start laughing. And they roll on. I get back to my apartment, I just look at this mess and go, all right, what do I do? Like,
what now? Yeah,
what now? It literally was a what now moment. And I just got, I had a couple towels and I cleaned it all up as best I could. The fun fact, this was during winter, so it was still cold. The next day when I got in my car and I turned on the heat. Yeah, that was gross.
That was some stank.
Oh, yeah, it was stank. Best part was, next day, I turned it on when I was on a date. Anyway, yeah, that was a bad day. But the full big story here.
Hold on, before you tell your second one, let get one in, then I'll go one in.
Yeah, come back around. Yeah, come back around to me.
I have so many. You know, do I gauge it on how much of the night I don't remember? Do I gauge it on how many body parts I've broken? Or do I gauge it on not being able to sleep in my own bedroom?
Yes.
Or do I gauge it on being speared through a chair by my best friend? I don't know.
I wish I would have been there for that night.
Oh,
that was a good night. That was the tequila sunrise night. No, screwdriver night.
Yeah, it was screwdrivers hard. I think we did some car bombs in there too.
Oh gosh.
So probably my first like super drunken experience was with my buddy Chris Buckley, who is an absolute camp of a human being. He is doing awesome, and I keep like flaking on him. He keeps wanting to him and his girl want to get together with me and Brittany. Like, I would love to do that. So and I know that Buckley's not listening, but man, if you are, I want to see you, buddy. Anyway, so like him and like the entire west wing of the Nair second floor, we were all like kind of bros. They did their best.
Nair was a dormitory Beef lived in.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Just to give you some context.
When I went to college, I was very much like an introvert to myself. I loved my friends from Clearfield. I thought no one's ever going to replace them. I was very quiet at band camp. I was very reserved outside of, introducing myself as Beef, which everybody loved. I didn't really want to meet people. I didn't want to do new things. I just kept to myself. So I stayed on my computer and I did my studies, and I was a good little boy. So they're like, all right, we're gonna
go wrong.
Right. This is all his fault. So they're like, you know what, we're gonna get this guy. We're gonna bring him along kicking and screaming. And so it was towards the end of the first semester. They took me out to the Theta Chi house, the Ox house, which is the absolute party house of Clarion. Was. I don't think they have a house anymore.
They definitely don't.
And as I mentioned, I was trying to be very, very careful with how and when I drank because I didn't want to endanger my, future. Ha ha ha. So, we went to this house, and we decided that we were going to build a pyramid on the radiator that we were standing beside. Well, I found out, and it was like me and like 4 other guys. I found out that they didn't really contribute many cans of beer, that most of them were mine, especially the ones in the bottom levels. And, I remember about an hour of the party, and I remember being slung like between Buckley and Mike Fagan, and Fagan looking over me and like, "Beef, you okay, buddy?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm great, man." Like walking me back to the dorm, and then I remember laying in my bed and thinking, "Oh, this is not good." Vomit all over my bed sheets, the wall, the rug, everything. I'm like, "Oh," and I was still so drunk at this point, and I'm like, "All right, we're just gonna let this ride for a minute." And then my buddy, superstar quarterback Wayne Reed of the Clarion football team, he never fucking played a fucking snap. Like him and I really got along really well. But he showed up about an hour later with this woman he was whatevering, and
you know what he was doing?
Yeah,
playing Parcheesi.
He looks at me laying in my own bed of vomit, looks at the rug, and he goes, "No, this is gonna be cleaned up by the time I come home tomorrow." I said, "Okay." So I got my ass out of bed at like 2:30 in the morning, and I started scrubbing. I scrubbed my sheets, I scrubbed my carpet, in my boxers, still throwing up in a bag beside me, crying my eyes out. Buckley comes over at like 4:30. He's like, "Man, are you okay?" I said, "I don't know, man." He's like, "Do you want some help?" I'm like, "I just need to see this through myself." And like that was like the lowest point in my life at that point, was like, and so like just kind of like an aside. At once, I think that summer, I went home to Clearfield and we did our thing, me and the guys, and of course Poot was one of them. And Poot and I have always been feuding famously. And,
Fat Wars.
During one of our crazy long trips to the truck stop and just sitting out there smoking a ton of cigarettes, at one point he decides he's had enough of my guff, and he takes a straw full of Mountain Dew and just blows it right on me. And everyone's like, "Oh!" And they were just waiting for me. And I said, no. I said, "I'm not going to respond now." I said, "I'm going to make Poot feel what I felt when I was sitting in my dorm at 2:30 in the morning, sitting in my boxers, drunk off my ass, being hungover while being drunk, puking my guts out, trying to clean my floor up while crying." I said, "I will reduce him to that." I still have not, by the way, Poot.
Nope.
Just saying.
No, you haven't.
That's my story.
You haven't reduced me to that, and you know what? Whatever it is, man. You know what?
Sounds like a challenge.
Well, now that we're older, put me out of my misery, literally and figuratively. Go on, Ransom.
Go ahead, Ransom.
Well, I got 2. One involves beef, the other one doesn't.
Well, you get one. We're going around the horn.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say the one that doesn't involve beef, and I've told this one to Beef. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I probably told you this, Poot, but in case I haven't, this was my freshman year at college, and I knew Beef at this point, but we weren't like bros yet. I still lived with a random roommate that I got paired up with at the beginning of the year. And we went to the Phi Mu Alpha house, which was the fraternity house where all the music people would go. And they made the worst like house punch ever. It was bottles of alcohol mixed with containers of Kool-Aid and sugar. So you didn't taste any alcohol. All you tasted was Kool-Aid, and you didn't really realize how drunk you were until you were on your way out of the house and out of your life.
Oh, sure.
So I generally, and I say this with an asterisk, generally, I have that switch in me that goes, because I hate to throw up. I hate it. So generally, I have that switch that goes, oh, okay, that's it. One more, and it's going to be bad time. So it's time to stop. And that switch was working this night. But this was one of those off nights which, for some reason, they still had a party, but a whole bunch of people were not there. I don't know if it was some sort of band tour that a lot of the music people were on, or if it was just one of those weekends where a lot of people went home. But there weren't a whole lot of people there.
Right.
So I was socializing with people that I was friendly with, but we weren't tight. And I hit that point where I'm like, oh, okay, this is the deciding moment. It's time. And I'm looking around thinking, there's nobody here that I'm like tight with. So I'm like, well, I got to go. So the Fun Waffle House was within walking distance of my dorm, probably about 5 minutes. Right? Is that what you would say, B? 5 minutes from Campbell Hall, walking in a drunken stupor?
Sure. Yep.
So I stumbled my way, and I was a communication major, so it didn't matter if I got busted or not.
Except that your mom would have killed you.
Oh, that's true, yeah. So I was cautious like beef, not for the fear of my future, but for fear of being beheaded by my mom. And at that point, I still had to, because I was 18, and, aside from Clarion, I lived at home, so had to abide by the rules. So I stumbled my way back to my dorm. Everything's fine. I passed no people. I passed no police. I didn't vomit on anything or myself. I'm good. I get back into my room, and I'm like, you made it. This was a dicey night, but it's a success. So I spent about 5 minutes that I can recall. It might have been longer or shorter. I don't know. But I'm going to say 5 minutes in my room before I was like, I'm so thirsty. I need to get something to drink.
Oh.
And I don't know if I had nothing in my fridge.
Drunk thirsty.
Or if my brain didn't realize that my fridge was there. But I'm like, I got to go to the lobby and get to the water fountain. So I go to the lobby. And when you're in the lobby, there's 2 sets of glass doors, and then you're outside. So from the lobby, I don't even get my drink. I make it to the lobby, and I see all these flashing, colorful lights outside.
Oh, no.
And in my brain, plastered at 18 years old, I go to myself, this is a perfect opportunity for you to investigate something. So I proceed out both sets of double doors.
Oh, you dum-dum.
Oh, yeah. And this is why I wish Beef was there, because at least somebody would have been able to like grab me by the shirt collar and went, nope, let's turn around and go this way. But there was nobody there. Tara and I weren't together yet. Beef wasn't there. I had nobody. So I go outside, and there's public safety cars, Clarion Township or Borough cars, and state police cars.
Oh, no.
All with their lights on, and they've got some girl handcuffed. And again, 18 years old and plastered, a normal sober person would have went, oop, none of my business. I'm going to go back inside. But 18 years old and plastered, I went, best possible thing I can do is point and laugh. So that's what I proceed to do. I point and I go,
the ransom giggle.
Yeah, it takes a while for my brain to relay a message to the rest of my body to go, hey, man, no, man.
Stop that.
So once that that synapses hit, my mouth shut up, but I'm still pointing. So I went from pointing and laughing to pointing and stone-faced. And then the synapse, or then the relay hit my finger that went, put it down. So I slowly lower my hand, and I turn around, and I walk back into my dorm. And I get down the hallway, and I'm one door away from my dorm room, and I went, okay, could have been worse. You made it. It's at that point when I hear, "Good evening, sir." And I went, "Oh." And I turn around, and there's a police officer.
Oh.
Followed me back into the dorm. And he says, "You having a good night?" And I went, I was having a good night. I'm not anymore." And he goes, "Are you 21? Or no, first off, he goes, "Have you been drinking?" And at this point in time, the switch in my head that tells me that I should lie or tell the truth is broken. So it's just stuck on truth. 110% honest to God truth. And I went, "Yes, I've been drinking a lot."
Good.
Not just yes. I said yes. I've been drinking a lot. And
Listen,
he says to me, "Are you 21? And again, that switch in my brain stuck on super honesty, and I went, "No, not even a little bit." And he goes, "Is that your room?" And I went, "Yeah, my room's right there." And I reach out. In my drunken state, I reach out and try to, like, touch my doorknob. But I'm one whole door away from my door.
Oh.
So I'm just, my hand's just feathering in the middle of the air. I'm trying to touch my door, but I'm like, "Yep, that's my room right there." And he goes, "Okay, I'll make you a deal. We're going to be out tonight. If you go back into your room and I don't see you the rest of the night, we'll forget this ever happened." And instead of just saying okay and turning around to go to my room, again, stupid mode on, I folded my hands like I'm praying and look at this police officer and I go, "God bless your soul." He just looks at me and goes, "Oh, okay." He turns and walks away, and I go into my room and I fall down on the floor. And that's where I spent the rest of the night, on the floor.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a lot of luck following me around that night.
You holy shit. All right. So the other one that I was thinking of, and we can do this instead of $1 million, but this is kind of fun. I like this. We've never sat around and just
we'll have time for $1 million.
Like so okay. So my second year at Lock Haven main campus, I broke my ankle on Valentine's Day. It was an anniversary of me breaking one of my femurs as well.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah. In case anyone's listening, I've broken each femur 5 times. Don't do it. It sucks the bag real hard. So I was leaving our fine arts building, Sloan, and I was walking to my dorm, which was literally about 45 yards away, diagonally away from it. So, like, it was the dream. All my classes were in Sloan, and I just basically went back and forth to my dorm. It was great. I didn't have to walk up the cardiac hill up to my old dorm. It was great. So I'm leaving there. It was a Sunday. It was a Sunday. And I'm walking there, and there's a set of steps, like stone concrete steps that go down to the front door of the dorm, but there's also a little hill. And I went, I'm not going to walk the extra 20 feet to the stairs. I'll just go down the hill. So I slipped and I fell and I broke my ankle. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, my ankle was broken at this point. I was in a boot, okay? The sprain was worse than the break. The break was a hairline fracture, but the sprain was terrible. So I'm in a boot and on crutches, okay? Going to our fraternity's district convention, which was in Clarion, okay? And I'm staying at a hotel with all the other people from my chapter, and we're having a good time, and we're having a blast, and we I had so much to drink that progressively throughout the night, I went from 2 crutches with 10% weight to 2 crutches with, like, alternating foot walking to 1 crutch to no crutches hobbling to walking like normal.
He was healed. Praise Jesus.
It was, dude, and it was one of those things where like, it doesn't hurt at all. I'm good to go. And this is when I had long hair and a big dumb beard, and like I wore a hat by the clothing company Dirtbag, so like I literally looked like a homeless person. I looked like and like that night I ended up I don't remember all the details of the night, but I remember drinking our drink that we had, our version of house punch. And it was made with not 151, it was made with grain. So,
Lord.
And so I ended up sitting and playing to protect the innocent and all this. I know it's years and years later, but to protect the innocent, I was sitting and playing checkers with this punch. So you have like, it's a checkerboard, but instead of checker pieces, you have shot glasses, and each one is filled with the punch. So whenever you jump someone, they have to drink that shot glass full of this punch, right?
Oh.
And if you get a king, you have to drop. We would soak fruit in this punch, and one of the fruit items was a grape. Grapes absorb that stuff, and it's like little water balloons of booze. And I'm bad at checkers. I'm good at I'm okay at chess, but I'm terrible at checkers. By the end of it, the table was full of kings and my one lone little piece fighting for its life. And he jumped me, and whoever loses has to finish what's left on the board. So every single one of those had a grape in them. I took them like pills. Like, I didn't even chew them because they tasted terrible. I took them like pills. And so I had like probably 6 grapes just floating in my stomach. And I went outside with a bunch of people to have a smoke. And we're outside, and we're talking and everything. And I swear to God, all at once, they all went. And I was done. I don't remember the rest of the night. Following day, I wake up in my hotel room, and you know, with conventions, there's always meetings and like talks and discussions and everything like that. I woke up, I think, at 9:30 with a hangover to beat the band, and with my broken ankle that was out of its boot. I don't know how it got out of its boot.
Boy.
And I turned on the edge of my bed, forgot my ankle was broken, and I stood up and immediately went down. And I went, so my ankle's broken. I'm like writhing on the floor in my boxers. And I crawl into the bathroom, turn on the shower. Again, this is a normal thing for a hungover poot. Go crawl in the shower. Crawl in the shower, and I'm laying in the shower. I turn it on boiling hot, and I lay there. And in someone's bag in the bathroom, I found like super strength ibuprofen. I took, 2,500 milligram? And I'm laying there in the shower. And I fell asleep in the shower with the shower on. And I heard boom, 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 boom. Housekeeping! And I woke up and I'm like, oh, God. And my head was still pounding. And I hear... And all I could muster was, go away. And I'm laying in the shower. And boom, 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 boom. Housekeeping. And I just mustered everything I had to scream, go away for 5 hours. And then they went away. 10 minutes later, I heard knocking on our door, and I just screamed, what the fuck did I just say? So I eventually came to my senses around noon. And got out, put my boot on, got cleaned up, and went to normal festivities. And they were like, where were you? I'm like, shut up. And they were like, you should have been here earlier. And I'm like, I know, shut up.
That hangover was God's punishment for standing up your buddy Beef the night before, who was looking so forward to seeing you at his university.
What are you talking about? You didn't do any. You were supposed to come to the hotel.
No, man, no way. There's no way I would have left the. There's no way I would have camped for the hotel. You were supposed to come meet me at Bob's house, and we were supposed to have some.
You
fun and
never
drink
told me
and-
that.
Oh yes, I did. And you're
No,
like, sorry,
you
man.
didn't.
I had the Dutchman, and you that with the grapes, and I'm like, oh well, fuck me then, right?
Well, you know,
bastard.
you guys could have, literally every single person in the Ned was at that place except for you and Bob.
Well, yeah.
Am I
No,
wrong? Yeah, well, yeah.
All of the Kappa brothers from Clarion we're not gonna stay at a fucking hotel.
No, you didn't
we
stay
pay
at a
us to live
hotel.
in
You
the
could have come and hung out there.
Ah.
Says. Beef, do you have another one?
Oh God, I have so many.
This is fun. I'm having fun. Also, people are going to listen to this and go, you can't talk about the fraternity that way. You can't do that. You can't. Yeah, I can. Shut
It's
up.
Yeah, what are you
okay.
gonna do?
Patrice and Ken Jackson aren't listening. We'll be fine.
What are you gonna do? Sugar mothers, come get them. If I'm left for trying to do that, come get them. I still got them.
Go on.
Gosh, probably so.
You hear that, maniac? I still got them.
I want to believe that probably my next worst time was probably either the first or second Jaeger Nightmare. I don't remember.
Oh. The first one that was contained our apartment, and is the second one the
Yes.
one where you broke yourself?
Yeah. So
Okay.
the first one was where I had a gallon of Jaeger, and it was like brand new because we had just started the school year, and I used all my free tuition money that I'm paying back now over the course of the rest of my life to buy stupid things. I buy a fucking like $50 gallon of Jaeger, and it's just sitting in our freezer. And we're like, hey, it's the start of the school year. Let's have a party. And Adams or Ransom, whatever the fuck your name is, whatever we're calling you tonight. You're off doing your thing. Your wife is off. Her roommate, because they live below us, they're off. Our other roommate didn't even live there anymore. So basically, it was just me. And I'm like, well, I got about an hour and a half to kill till the party starts. I'll have a shot of Jaeger. And then I'm in my my room going through my like dark metalhead stage. So like I didn't have any lights on. It was just my computer, and I'm just sitting there like jamming out to like metal. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm feeling good. I'm gonna have another shot. I'm like 4 or 5 deep before the party really starts. Somebody rolls in at about 5. I think it was one of his Adam's wife's roommates rolled in, and they got home. And I'm like, hey, come on up. We'll do a shot. Another shot. And then some people started coming for the party. I'm like, hey, so and so's here. It's time for a shot. So pretty soon, like I'm floored. But before anybody even gets there, Adam rolls in about 15 minutes after the quote-unquote party would have started, and I'm like, "Hey, Adam's here. Let's have a shot." And he takes me by the shoulder, and I'm like, I have the Jägermeister in my hand, and it's easily like a third gone, like a third of the gallon is gone, and he's like, "Beef, how much have you had to drink tonight?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. I've had some shots." He's like, wasn't this brand new whenever the night started? I'm like, yeah. He's like, dude, you've drank way too much Jaeger tonight. I'm like, no, man, it's good. We're good.
No,
have
man.
a shot with me. He's like, all right, okay, we're gonna have a shot. And I'm pretty sure he like took my shot for me, and he took his shot. And like I didn't know the difference because I'm fucking blitzed at this point. And he takes me. And he takes one of our, like, rickety fucking chairs that were in the apartment for whatever reason. They, this fucking slumlord apartment gives us these rickety-ass chairs, and he puts them right in front of the toilet. And he says, Beef, this is your seat for the party. I'm like, no, man, I want to be out there with the people. I am the people's beef. They need me. He's like, no.
The people's beef.
You need to be here in front of this toilet. I'm like, you're such a party pooper, and I don't like you right now. He's like, I don't care. You sit right here until you throw up. After you throw up, if you want to come out and drink more, you can drink some more and we'll have a great. But until you throw up, you're sitting right here. And so, like, our first apartment was awful. The bathroom was this like little hole in the wall, and like the door opened right to our living room.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the door was never closed all night. And I'm just sitting there watching people, and they're, like, looking at me like at the zoo, and I'm like, And, yeah, I got real fucking sick. The second one, though, was even worse.
Oh.
Because that was the night. And it's always fucking Jägermeister for some reason. I think Mike Discoli had a regular bottle of Jaeger, and he brought it. And he's like, hey, dude, I know you like this stuff. Have at it. I'm like, for real? He's like, yeah, man. So me and this girl, she was a freshman, she was cool. And so I was like, fuck it, let's drink. So we do a shot of Jaeger, go downstairs, have a cigar. Do another shot of Jaeger, cigar, Jaeger, cigar. And, like, the stairs at the apartment that we were at were very, very narrow, very small, not easy to navigate. I had no problem gliding up and down like the fucking Cinderella at the ball. Up and down, no problem. And, I'm good and faced, and, Adam hits his, like, alright, we're done, time to go, button. Which is like the time in the night where Adam goes from like drunk to like okay, and the hangover starting now, fun time's over, let's go. And so it's like all right, time to go. So I glide down the stairs again, and
as graceful as you could ever imagine.
Graceful, man, like a swan. And it's like February. I think it's just after the Super Bowl, in fact. So semester literally just started. A little bit of snow on the ground, and we're walking to the car, and I'm just like fall down drunk, but I'm fine until like from the Stygian darkness, my best friend in the world leaps at me from like I swear, you know, he had like 100 sneak in Skyrim, like he wasn't there, and then all of a sudden he was there, and he goes boo. And I twist, and I topple, and I turn, and I'm a heap. And I'm laying there, I'm like, And he's like, what happened to you? I'm like, you scared me, you dickhead. He's like, I was standing right beside you. I'm like, you leapt at me from the darkness. And so I'm like, all right, fuck this. And I try to stand up, and I immediately right into a heap again. I'm like, oh, okay. That ain't supposed to happen. So I try it again, and right down. I'm like, okay, something's happened. And I said, all right. And Adam at this point is like pissed off. Buddy, you've come a long way. But it used to be that you had like the shortest temper in the world, and like whenever you were annoyed, you went to like super staying annoyed.
Yep.
So like I'm like belly crawling like a fucking like a soldier out of the foxhole. And you're like, come on, Beef, get the fuck in the car, let's fucking go. Because we had no idea what had transpired. And, like, I'm making my way there, like, belly crawling through the snow. And our buddy Mike Discoli is there helping. Who else was there? I don't even remember. Like, loading me into the car. And, like, the girl that I was trying to, like, you know, get a play on at the time, she was there. She's like, what's wrong with him? And you were like, he's just being a baby, let's go, Beef. And I'm like, all right. So I crawl into your 2001, 2002 Malibu.
Yep.
And I'm laying in the back seat on my belly, and like you're doing your ransom thing, going 85 through the streets of Clarion, and like the world is just done for me right now. And we get to the apartment. And Mike Discoli came over too to help me get situated. And I'm sitting there, and they open up the passenger door, the backseat passenger door, and Mike's like, "All right." Mike Discoli is the biggest like sweetheart I've ever met. Yes. He's like, "All right, dude." He's like full on Italian. Like I'm pretty sure he has mob connections. Hopefully I didn't just out him, and I hope I don't get him whacked. But he's super cool. And he's like, "All right, come on, we gotta get you in the apartment, buddy, because it's like 20 degrees out." And Adam's like, all right, we're done with this. It's over. Let's go in the apartment now. I'm like, all right, just give me 5 feet. In my mind, I'm saying, I just want 5 minutes. But I kept saying, give me 5 feet.
I don't know what it meant. So Mike Discoli and I are backing up. Like we're physically backing up away from him because we think he wants us to give him like a wide berth.
He's He's like, Beef, I'm standing back 10 feet. What do you want from me? Get out of my fucking car. And I'm like, I'm just going to sleep here. He's like, the hell you are. The hell you are. You get out of my car now. All right.
Just give me 5 feet.
Vomit all over the car, door over the car. And he's like, all right, that's it. And he starts like jostling me out of the car. I'm like, okay. And like I'm on the ground, and we lived in like a little back alley place with like gravel and a stoop. So like I had to crawl.
I love that
on gravel.
place. I love that place.
I had to crawl on gravel up the stoop, and I laid on the floor in our apartment. I think Tara had to cut my boot off. And like we get my shoe off, and like I'm wearing Timberlands at the time because why not?
Blue suede Timberlands.
Oh,
yeah,
those fucking things!
It's turning my ankle is turning purple and orange and red all at the same time, and I'm like, okay, that's probably just a break. I'll probably be fine. And Adam's like, all right, we're going to bed. If you need anything, don't say anything. I'm like, okay. And so I call my mom at like 1:30 in the morning. I said, hey, I might need you guys to come up tomorrow and take me to the hospital. And this was not their first trip to take me to the hospital in Clarion. That's another story altogether. But she's like, oh, well, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I just think, I think I hurt my ankle. She's like, okay, we'll be up after church. It was a Saturday night, so, church on Sunday. So I lay there in misery all fucking night, my ankle throbbing, knowing that I broke my ankle, but telling myself it's probably just a bad sprain. At one point I had to piss so bad I started trying to like cut a Mountain Dew bottle open to like piss into it, and with a key. And Adam rolls out of his fucking room, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "Dude, nothing. Don't worry about it. Get out of bed." He's like, "All right." Just walks around. So I soldier crawl to the bathroom. I pull myself up my bad ankle to try and piss. I'm like, nope. So I sit down and piss, and I'm like, fuck this. This is terrible, and I hate it. And sure enough, I fucking shattered my ankle that night. Oh, and I was out for like 6 weeks. It was terrible.
That's not the only break that you've had, and I want to hear the other story. But Ransom, give us another one.
All right, so this one didn't happen at Clarion. This one happened well after I was 21, because Tara and I were married at this point, living at our house, and our buddy Josh had come over. And when our buddy Josh came over, we used to do the Butler bar crawl. We would hit maybe 6 different bars in Butler, and we would walk to all of them. Like, we walked all over the city of Butler. City, quote unquote. It's pretty much a town, but they call it a city. The last stop was always the Lindora Hotel, because it was closest to our house. So we were leaving the Lindora Hotel, and we had all been drinking at this point, because Tara was usually the DD for us, lushes, but she didn't have to be because we were walking. So we were all drinking. And there's a plaza with a bowling alley in between the Lindora Hotel and our house. And in this plaza at this time of year, they would set up one of those corn stands, where it was like, honor system, deposit your money, take your corn, whatever. So it's got to be
Yeah.
like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Those things that happen everywhere.
Yeah. So it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and do you remember planking? Like when planking was a thing?
Yes.
Do you remember shortly after planking was a thing, there was a thing called owling?
Yes.
You would perch on something and sit like an owl.
Oh, yeah.
So Josh was like, I'm going to go owl on this corn stand. Take a picture of me. Because we've been doing that all night. He would get up on different things and perch like an owl, and I'd take a picture of him all over Butler. So I went, yeah, man, let's do it. We're both destroyed at this point. So he gets up on the stand and perches like an owl. Except instead of taking my phone out to take a picture, my brain went, you should tackle him off of this corn stand. So naturally, that's what I did. Because at that time, it was the best idea I had. So I run full steam and just like leap, like a superhero leaping through a window. I just leap at him, and I tackle him off this corn stand. We crumble to the ground, corn everywhere. He gets up, laughing hysterically, and starts to run through the plaza. Except, like, 10 feet from where we were was a parked car. So he got up and ran full steam into the hood of this parked car. And I think this is the funniest thing in the world, because he pretty much just tried to tackle a car. Until I hear from behind me, Tara say, that's a cop car. And sure enough, it's a Butler Township police issue Ford Explorer with an officer in the driver's seat watching for speeders. So I'm standing there horrified. Josh gets up and is probably 5 feet from this cop.
He gave him 5 feet.
He just hit the hood. Yeah, so we're both of us. It felt like a solid 5 minutes. We stood there and stared, mouth agape at this cop. I'm sure it was like a couple seconds. So Josh yells. This officer had his window down and everything. Josh yells at the top of his lungs, "Run!" So we did. We ran, and I'm not in the best shape because I'm a round-ish fellow who had just been drinking and at that time was a smoker. So we run from this plaza back to my house, which is, I don't know, a 3-minute walk, 2-minute walk maybe. Like if you're walking like a normal person would walk from this spot back to my house. We run as fast as we can. Tara just goes, nope, and just saunters along because she didn't tackle anybody. She's good. Cop's not going to stop her for anything. Josh and I are running as fast as we can. And I didn't know this until afterward when Tara told me that the cop pulled out after us and just drove at a slow crawl as we were running because we weren't running fast. We get to my yard, and in my yard, I again, in my brain, say, home free, we made it, tackle him. So I tackled him in my front yard. And that's when we see the lights and the spotlight on us from the cop car that had followed us up our road. And the cop goes, you guys live here? And I raised my hand like I'm in school. And I went, I live here! And he goes, okay. And again, it's I don't know how I get so lucky in these situations. He goes, okay, I don't want to see you guys the rest of the night. And I go, no problem. And we run from our front yard around the house to my porch. Like, we're going to get away from the cop. He wasn't going to arrest us. He wasn't stopping us. We were already there. We could have just walked. Nope. We get up and we run onto my front porch and into my house. 2 minutes later, Tara comes walking in and goes, did that cop stop you? And we went, yep, sure did. She's like, what did he say? We told her what he said, and she goes, I don't understand how you guys get so lucky.
That is...
Was that also the night that you guys then did, in fact, go back out and get all the nuggets at McDonald's?
No, that was a different night. That was a night where Tara was a designated driver. We had gone to a bar over on Route 8 that's in the Days Inn. Josh and I got plastered, and we were like, oh, we're so hungry. So there's a McDonald's right beside this hotel where this bar was. So Tara goes to the drive-thru, and she goes, you order, I'm not talking to these people. She had had enough of us. Like, she was over this night 100%.
Dude, when you're DD, man, it's hard.
It is.
It's fucking grace on you.
So Josh was in the back seat behind Tara, the driver. And so she pulls up to the microphone. He rolls his window down. The person asks what we want. And this is verbatim what Josh says. I want all of your chicken McNuggets. And there's a few seconds of silence. And the poor person on the other end of the speaker goes, that's not a quantity that we can sell. And then they rattled off the quantities, and like I can't remember what the biggest one was, 20 piece or 50 piece or whatever. And so he orders the largest amount of chicken nuggets you can order. And then begrudgingly, this girl on the other end of the mic goes, would you like any sauce with that? And Josh goes, I want all the sauce. And she doesn't even try to reason with him. She just goes, okay, pull around. So we pull around, he pays, and we get 2 of those huge like paper McDonald's bags. One bag is full of chicken nuggets. And there's a whole other bag, those big ass McDonald's brown bags, full of dipping sauces. They must have just taken handfuls of them and thrown them in this bag. They were like, fuck these guys.
Because you want all the McNuggets, you want all the sauces. So.
Yep.
That's what, yeah. So there probably was a sauce pack, or like one of those little sauce tubs, per chicken nugget.
Holy fuck.
It was, we had so many of them.
We used to
the
nighttime drive-through at the McDonald's in Lock Haven. We used to go through there because it used to be walk-up. It was walk-up.
We never had one of those.
But they stopped doing it because we can't have nice things because of 1 or 2 dumb people. So what we decided to do whenever we were all too drunk, we would walk down there and we would stand in the formation of an SUV. And we would just go, and we'd walk through like in car formation.
Oh my god!
Like, we would do that, and they actually let us get away with it once or twice. But yeah, because they thought it was funny, because we were a bunch of drunk college kids, not hurting anybody. We just wanted a quarter pounder with cheese. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
All right. Mine never have to do with anything crazy that I did. Oh. One that I did, we were upstairs in my friend Brett's house drinking. We weren't downstairs. We were upstairs, and we were sitting around, and we were just having beers, and we were doing a couple shots and stuff like that. And I wasn't too far gone, but I was far gone enough that I thought it was a really good idea because it was around I don't know why, whoever had them, they had bottle rockets, and so I thought it was a really good idea. We had this little tiny window. It was in the common area upstairs between 3 people's rooms. Like, there were 3 rooms upstairs, but there was this weird little, like, common area, sitting area. And there was a small, probably, like, 4x3 window at the top of the wall, facing out towards the backyard. And we're sitting there, and someone had bottle rockets, so they were like, holding them in a beer bottle and shooting them out the window. I thought it was a good idea to shoot one out of my hand, and it went off fine. I'm like, oh, okay, what other goofy crap can I do? So I had a really big beard at the time, so I put one in my mouth, and I launched it out of my mouth, and it went fine. And I felt my beard. I'm sitting there, like, just drunk enough, feeling my beard going, I've put pencils in this. This'll work. So I took 2 of them, and I put them in my beard, and I lit them. And I'm sitting there angling at the window. And they go off, out the window. I got some ashes in my beard, and I started hitting my beard. And in my panic, I scooped one up and it went on my lip. And I didn't notice because it was so hot that, like, when you burn yourself, you don't realize you're burning yourself.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It was in my beard. I'm patting my beard and it went up on my lip like this. And I just kind of went, what's that smell? And then all of a sudden the pain happened and I smacked myself in the face. And I just had this giant burn mark on my lip for like a couple weeks. And that's when we were like, okay, we should probably quit dicking around, because also our the neighbors at the house called the cops. They were like, there's a disturbance. They're setting off some kind of explosive. And the cops walked up, knocked on the door, and were like, are you guys blowing stuff up? And they were like, no, we have bottle rockets. And they were like, those are illegal in Pennsylvania. Cut that shit out, and walked away. That no fines, no nothing. They were just like, stop. Like, the Lock Haven cops could both be really, really cool and also big, fat, stupid dickheads. Like, but there was that one. A lot of mine have to do with, I didn't drink till I was 21. Like, I didn't. I did not drink. I was on the straight and narrow. I turned 21. And I learned very quickly that I could put away beers and be fine. Like, you know, Keystone Light, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like, that was the order of the day. Cheap beers, Beast Ice, Beast Light, you know what I mean?
Bush Light.
Bush Light, Miller Light, you know, we could put all that I could put those away like crazy. And I was like, oh, wow. And I didn't understand the fact that liquor was had the same, didn't have the same tolerance. And I drink fast. I just do. You guys have seen it. I drink quick.
Oh, yeah.
So it was my birthday. It was the day after my birthday, and again, my friend Brett, he was like, hey, man, I'm sorry I couldn't come out with you last night. Oh, that's another one. Never mind. That's for another time. But, like, this night, he said, hey, man, I'm sorry I couldn't come out last night. You know, I'll tell you what. Let me go to the liquor store. I'll buy you a bottle of something, whatever you want. And I had heard people talk about Captain Morgan Tattoo. And I said, well, I heard Captain Morgan Tattoo was really good. He said, cool, I'll get you a bottle of that. So he got me a bottle of that, and he got me a bottle of Coke. And he said, here, you can have rum and Cokes all night long. Knock yourself out. Well, because I didn't understand, first of all, ratios with liquor. I didn't. And I also was like, oh, I can put away beers like crazy, so I'll be fine. I finished a fifth of rum in about 45, 50 minutes.
Oh, no.
A fifth of rum. And I remember finishing it, and I went, hey, man, do you have any beer or anything? He goes, dude, I bought you that whole bottle of rum. And I was like, yeah, I finished that. And he goes, what? And I was like, yeah, I finished that. And and as he said, there's beer in the fridge, knock yourself out. So I had some more beers. I went outside. And he was like, dude, I don't know how you're functioning. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm fine. It's no big deal. I went outside for a smoke, and I'm sitting outside on his ottoman. I'm like, well, I don't understand what the problem is. I don't understand this. Everyone's giving me shit. Then all of a sudden it was, I remember waking up in my dorm, and I had a hangover that was the worst hangover at the time that I could have had. And I looked at my clock, and I looked at my phone. I picked up my phone to look at my text messages. I had 4 text messages from my choir director saying, where the hell are you? And I panicked and ran down the hill. I was supposed to help set up for the choir concert, and I got there half an hour late. And I was hungover, but I had enough adrenaline going that, like, because I was like, oh man, I gotta go. I got there. Dude, I was so hungover, I couldn't figure out how to daisy chain speakers together. Like, with XLR cables, I couldn't figure out how to plug one speaker into another.
Oh, my.
And he saw, like, I wasn't getting it done. He goes, just go in the back and get the electric piano. Just go in the back and get the synth. And I was like, okay. I went in the back of our performance hall, and I looked, and I fully knew that the synth was over in Sloan. But I figured this was an opportunity for me to collect myself. So there was a giant pile of paper towels, like packaged paper towels. I laid down on that and fell asleep for about 45 minutes. And
Gosh.
I heard yelling from outside, where the hell's that piano? And I said, oh, it's over at Sloan. I laid back down, and I fell asleep, woke up. And again, I heard hustling and bustling. I looked out into the, like, backstage area, and everyone's there in their tuxedos, and I'm still in my, like, gym shorts and t-shirt. I had to run back up the hill and then come back down in my tuxedo. I made it 5 minutes before the performance started.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had to be on stage the entire time because I was in every ensemble, hungover the whole time. No food, no water, just no collecting. Just that's the thing. It's like I wish I had more crazy, like, actual of the night stories, but it's always the next day where I have my comedy of errors. But yeah, I mean,
well, and just so our wonderful listeners don't think that we've grown out of this, like, what, about 2 years ago?
Oh, no.
BRB.
It was Easter weekend. And I don't know what the occasion was, other than Adam texting me and saying, hey, I have a big fat... Alright, I'm going to walk that back a little bit. I have a big roast that we're gonna cook. You and Brittany want to come over and drink?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah, I do.
And so the next day, we were supposed to get up at dawn and go and sit with our nephew Joey, while Brittany's sister and brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, brother-in-law, went and got some discounted candy at the Charval. So it may have been the week after Easter. I don't remember. Anyway, so I don't remember what exactly it was that we had, other than a great time. But I remember that there were lots and lots and lots of Angry Orchards.
Yeah.
And the details of that night are very, very fuzzy. But I remember being in our old car and throwing up the entire way home. And coming home, I remember looking over Brittany, and that's it. And then I remember waking up as she is walking out the door, and I'm like, "Oh no, I'm gonna come with you." She's like, "You're not going anywhere." And like then that's when I realized that I'm laying on the couch in my boxers, and I'm like, and she's like, "You need to sleep it off." And I'm like, "Okay." So I sleep for a few more hours, and then I wake up and I'm like, "Oh no. Oh no." And I send her like 15 text messages about, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry about nothing." And I'm like, "Oh no." I try to go to the door. The door's locked. The bathroom, our bedroom door, the door's locked. There's a note that says, "Don't even think about going in the bedroom until you get a shower."
Oh.
And I'm like, "Oh no." I said, "Oh, this is bad." And the bottom was like, "We'll talk later." I'm like, "Oh no." And then there was like a PS, "Don't text me." I'm like, "Oh, but I just sent you a bunch of text messages. Oh my god." And so she gets home, and like I go and I get a shower, and oh boy, it hit the fan for a hot minute. But yeah, no, we are. Just because we're older doesn't mean we're wiser.
Doesn't happen as much anymore. But
Oh,
when it
no.
does,
When it happens,
it's a dumpster
man.
fire.
Oh,
As you guys have seen on our WrestleMania or our SummerSlam show last year.
oh,
Dumpster
what
fire.
a time, man!
Dumpster fire.
I really hope we get to have a weekend like that again.
That was the night that I passed out because I drank so much. But I was completely sober by the time I got home. But like I'm laying in bed, and I'm like my entire body just hurts, and I'm like, all right,
Oh,
this
those
sucks.
are the worst ones.
And it came out of nowhere, and it's a feeling that I've never had before. So I'm like, all right, is this a heart attack? No. Is it a stroke? No. All right, so I just need to get some ibuprofen. It's probably from being hungover.
Well, the thing. Go ahead.
Poot's on the couch, like sleeping ish. Brittany's sleeping. It's like 2:30 in the morning, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna get I'm just gonna get some ibuprofen. It'll be fine. I walk to the cupboard. I get the bottle of ibuprofen, and I start to feel the wave of like something's happened, and done.
Oh no.
Next thing I know, Brittany's standing over top of me, like smacking my face. I'm like, ah. And she's like, "Are you alright?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And Poot's like,
Yo.
"Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Okay, all good."
Yo, so let me give a little bit of clarification to this. I'm on the couch, asleep, probably snoring, and I'm asleep, and then all of a sudden I hear this giant bang. It sounded like someone threw a basketball. Like, if you ever had a dog and you threw its, like, tennis ball at your stove, that noise. Or, like, if you've ever thrown, like, a baseball against something metal and you hear that giant clang. Or, like, when wrestlers hit a roll-up garage door. It was that noise. And opened my eyes. It roused me from my sleep, and I'm bleary, and I went, "Oh, Enzo, why?" And I know that's not his name and your cat's name anymore, but I thought his cat knocked something over, so I wasn't any big deal. Then the light came on, and I was like, what the fuck? So I stood up, and Brittany ran over, and I heard, before I turned around and saw the scene, I heard, Jeff, are you okay? And I turned around, and I saw Beef on the floor, flat-backed on the floor, except for his head. His head was, like, bent all the way forward, like, chin to chest, like on the stove, and I just looked, and I'm standing there, and like time like went, and I went, oh my god, my best friend's dead. I literally had that.
I mean, you know, you gotta laugh now, but oh my god, my best friend's
no,
dead.
it was and Beef. Brittany slapping him, just say, Jeff, wake up, Jeff, wake up. And then all of a sudden I hear, what, I'm clear as a bell, Ransom, as I'm sitting here talking to you. He goes, no, I'm fine. What's wrong? And I wanted to go, you fell down, you asshole. I wanted to yell that, and like, I just walked over, and I was like, I didn't know what to do, because, you know, his wife's there. You know, I'm the best friend. I'm here for support. But like, you know, Brittany's there too. And I go, dude, you fell the fuck down. Are you okay? And you were like, yeah, dude, I'm fine. What's going on? And I'm like, you fell down. Are you okay? And you went, yeah, I'm fine. What's going on? Like,
you fell down.
And like, I was like, how the fuck does he not have a concussion? And we sat you up, and you're like, yeah, I'm fine. Stop worrying. I'm fine. I'm gonna go back to bed. And no, we ended up taking him to the ER.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah. What a weird night. And the doctors took all his numbers and everything. They're like, no, you're fine. No signs of a concussion, no nothing. Apparently,
I love how Beef can go from completely incapacitated to completely aware in like a fraction of a second.
No,
yeah, that's my life, man. That's, you know, And ultimately, I think it's because of my iron deficiency. If I'm being real here, which I've gotten better about taking my iron pills now, so I'm not afraid to drink anymore. But
I am like, iron pill.
Like when you know what's happening. So normally, I know what's happening, and like I can feel it happening. I'm like, all right, gotta prepare. Gotta get into a place where I'm not gonna get, you know, knocked the fuck out. All right, I'll be fine. Because the first time it happened to me was at my buddy's Veo's house, and like we were playing Munchkin, and it was just a weird night. And yeah, I was just standing, and then boom, down. I'm like, oh god. And Veo was like, listen, man, we had 911 dialed. We were ready to call the ambulance for you. So like, I'm used to it. So, like, whenever it happens, I'm like, okay, shit's going down. We gotta prepare. But that night, it was literally like, standing here. I'm standing right here, right now, at my cupboard. And I'm like, all right, grabbing the shit. And all of a sudden, it just, boom, hit me like a fucking Mack truck. It was fucking crazy. But then, yeah, I mean, you know, as soon as I come to, I'm clear. I'm fine. And then, like, you know, just like whenever you break a bone or whenever something serious happens, you want to bound right back, back up and be like, nope, I'm fine, I'm good, we're good, let's go.
Oh my goodness.
It was insane. Boys, we're getting long in the tooth. You want to close this out with a couple $1 million butts?
Yes, I do. I love that.
Why, of course.
Okay.
I love that that's Poot's go-to phrase. Every podcast is, well, boys, we're getting a little long in the tooth.
Long in the old tooth.
Hey, man, I've got all kinds of fun colloquialisms I've developed just from working in radio. My favorite one is whenever I'm interviewing someone and they ask me how, I say, how are you doing? They say, fine, how are you? You know what my answer always is?
What's that?
Finer than frog hair.
Oh, my.
I love that. It always gets a giggle out of people. It makes them relax a little bit. But, all right, so let's see.
Yokel.
All right. $1 million, but for the rest of your life, every time you climax, nothing comes out until an hour later.
Boy, that's...
I thought it was like this awkward, like, Poot, really? That's what you're opening up with? But it was really a thoughtful silence. You guys are like, huh.
Because here's the thing. As you get older, you know that's going to tail off. The experiences of that. So, like, it'd be a fucking inconvenience for, like, the next, I don't know, 15, 20 years. But then after that, it gets a little less, and then it just, it's whatever.
I would say yes, because I'm old and boring, and I'm never in one of those situations where it's like, oh, I'm not just at my house.
Right, exactly.
So
yeah,
it's
it's nothing spontaneous anymore, exactly.
No.
Well, I mean, I can't say never, but...
Well, that's true. But for the majority of it, the most part, it's like, even if it happens an hour later, go clean up, you're fine.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow.
It's gonna be up, well, just gotta throw my sweatpants in the wash.
See,
yeah, I mean, I would go yes.
See, I see no drawbacks to this, because then you never have to worry about the pull-out method.
Oh, there you go. Well,
See?
I mean, ransom, I really don't have to worry about that anyway right now. I mean, you slut whore.
What, me?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, with my going to work and then coming back here and playing Animal Crossing. Woohoo!
now listen,
Sorry,
I mean,
ladies,
if we're-
back off.
If we're gonna start quoting a quarantine life as fucking gospel, then I mean, come on.
All right.
You know what I mean.
So we're all saying a yes.
Yeah, that's a yes.
Oh, we're all going with yes on that. Okay, sticking with the theme, $1 million butt. For the rest of your life, your dick glows all the time at the level of a 250-watt bulb.
Is that bright? I don't know wattage.
That's very, very bright, Beef.
Is that like spotlight bright?
You'd need a pair of sunglasses.
No, because then my wife couldn't sleep. We talked about it earlier. I don't know if we were recording or not, but we weren't. I hit the fucking pillow and I'm done. But she really is a difficult sleeper. So like that would be a total inconvenience for her. So there's no way in hell.
Yeah, I'd say no as well. Just strictly because, again, we talk about this so many times. That $1 million is going to run out and back out the professional at some point, somewhere.
I would do it simply because if you had $1 million, you could take a very, very small portion of that and have some company make you light blocking underwear. And then, especially if you're going to do the business, you unveil it and it's, Or if you're stranded somewhere, you manage to get stranded somewhere and you need a light. There you go.
The old dick light.
Yeah, the old dick light. It's like a brick knife, only better.
Your tongue.
All right, I've got
asshole.
one for the two of you.
All right.
Hold on, I gotta get a drink here. Okay. $1 million, but for the rest of your life, your thoughts are openly narrated in the voice of Dusty Rhodes.
Poot sat there, baby, and he thought about Ransom's question, and he thought, damn, that's kind of a good one. Would that be inconvenient? I don't know. That Ransom's a smart fella and kind of handsome. Boy, howdy, shut up, Dusty. Anyway, I'd do it. My God, having the dream with me all the time? Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's vocalizing every internal thought you have.
Sure, why not?
No.
So you're out of, and it's not like everybody can hear it. So like you're out at a bar and you see this attractive girl and you have a thought about her. All of a sudden, everybody around you's going the American dream go, boy, that's one fine piece of tail right there.
I
mean,
like how
so
your
that's
American.
actually-
I like how your American Dream ransom sounds like Daffy Duck.
Yeah, I don't
That
do a
is-
good Dusty Rhodes.
that is the only time that it would be awesome, because you're like checking around, and all of a sudden you hear from the fucking eponymous depths, "Hey there, mama, you want to come over and get some hard times, daddy? Yeah." I mean,
Yes!
like that. I mean, that's a win. But when you're sitting in your boss's office and you're like, "By God, this could have been a fucking email, man. What are you doing with my time? You are wasting my time, daddy. Let's get it on. Let's get it rolling, man. We got to get out of here." No, I mean, no way.
Oh, absolutely.
Or you're sitting in a restaurant and all of a sudden you really have to poop. And now everybody knows it, except everybody knows that Dusty Rhodes just said, "Oh, Daddy, I really got to drop a...
I didn't eat a lot of fiber. This one's going to be hard times, Daddy. Hard
I'm going
times.
to have to do some pushing on this one."
Oh, I'd still do it. Absolutely. Me and Putin the Dream. It's a new
dear.
sitcom.
Poop
Like,
and the dream.
I am admittedly a giant asshole, so like the thoughts that go through my head are not usually pleasant about people, especially working customer service. Like, oh no, like I'm on the phone and I'm thinking about how much of a fucking idiot these people are, or how fucking like first world problems I'm talking to them, and all of a sudden the dream starts being like, well, you know what, motherfucker? Maybe your $50,000 in-ground pool doesn't need protection from hurricanes if you got a frickin' shelter in your backyard, do you now? Like, no way. Nope, no way.
You don't need the dream blowing your spots.
No, I do not.
At this point, I will take scenarios that just make my life more like a cartoon. Sure.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
a yes and Beef's a no.
Oh, I'll do
I
it.
would be a no as
Hard
well. I
no.
couldn't do that.
I'd absolutely do that. All right. Oh. Okay, $1 million, but you don't get to spend the money as you. You're given a second identity, and you can only use the money as that identity.
Does that mean that anything that identity buys you don't have?
I mean,
so
theoretically.
there's a lot of question marks there, because then, like, yeah, but like, if you're driving down the road with Bob Terwilliger's Corvette, it's like you get pulled over. Is this your car? Yeah, I got paperwork. Oh, well, that's not your name.
But that's it exactly.
Oh.
Is this your house? I mean, yeah.
Let's-
No, well, your name's on the deed. Oh,
You go to get a loan, just for like a small business loan. You want to open a business, you have to open it as Bob Terwilliger, and you're not
Right.
Bob Terwilliger. And then all of a sudden they come knocking for Bob Terwilliger, and they're like, "Who is this?" Then all of a sudden you're the one running the business. You're the one taking care of everything. Oh, you're busted for fraud.
and then all of a sudden it's a Fight Club scenario. I mean,
I would say
I don't know,
yes,
man.
because I would spend that $1 million on things that don't need, or it doesn't matter like what identity you get it on. So, like, I could go get a mortgage under my, but I could make the payments as Alec Ransom, and the bank doesn't care who's paying it. All they care is that they're getting their money. So I wouldn't spend $1 million on like a car or a house. I'd get all that under me, but I just issue the payments as this secondary identity. Because when it comes right down to it, banks don't care who's making the payments or who the money's coming from. All they care is they're getting their money. So everything will still have my name on it, but the payments will just come from that secondary name. So I would say yes.
Okay.
so I would say yes. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd probably make some meat purchases and try to, connive it some way. But at the end of the day, I think that I would probably try to, use the money to try and improve something. Donate to the Australia relief efforts, or donate, now to like the the COVID relief efforts, things like that. to try and make the world a better place, because if I can't spend and enjoy the money, I want that money to at least be going to something good. So I don't, there's not really a downside to that, so what if it's not like being donated in your name? It's still being put out for the good reasons. So I would go yes 100 times.
And that's not to say that you can't even like spend the money on frivolous things like, oh, we're going to go out to a very nice dinner tonight. Well, if I go out to dinner as John Terwilliger, it doesn't matter what the credit card says. If I can produce the identity and say that that's who I am, because that's what I'm spending the money on at that point.
Exactly.
I'm cool with that.
See, I feel like knowing my luck, everything would get super messy, and I would somehow end up in federal pound you in the ass prison. So I'm going to say no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no. I'm going to say no for me.
Knowing the Chuck Bungo luck, I agree with you.
Dude, look, here's my luck. A month out, I set up a date, and then all of a sudden there's a worldwide pandemic where you can't leave your house.
Oh.
Seriously.
You could still buy stuff online. Like, you could buy guitar stuff online as John Terwilliger. You're paying for it as that person, and they just ship it to your house.
Until they want John Terwilliger to sign for it.
Yeah, I
don't think UPS really cares as long as there's a signature.
I'm just saying. Saying it's these long threads that never bite anyone in the ass but me.
Well, that might be true.
I'm just saying.
He would get the guy who's pissed off at the end of his shift, being like, "Oh, what the fucking 7 guitars? Oh, I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna break him over the coals." And then he'd get Chuck, and Chuck would be like, "Well, I don't really have the ID," and he'd be like, "Oh, well, you can pick it up at the office with a proper ID."
No, it says it says
money burnt.
No, what it would say is. What it would be like, well, I don't actually have the proper ID, and then it hard cuts to a jail cell closing with me in it. All right. How about this one? $1 million, but every time you sneeze, something in the room around you falls over. If you're outside, it could be a building or a person.
Oh, dear Lord.
Oh, my God, yes.
Oh.
Especially
so in one sentence, Beef says he wants to spend that $1 million to help someone and benefit somebody. And then the next sentence, he's like, "Yeah, I'm cool if I sneeze and the Sears tower comes down."
So funny enough, this is actually how 9/11 happened.
So yeah. I don't want to be like a building or something, but like a person, like you sneeze and all of a sudden someone just like whoop, down they go.
He's completely fine if he sneezes and ransom. That's poetic justice, bitch.
What if you decide to take your sweetheart to a fucking museum? What if you decide to go to a museum and you sneeze and you break something that's infinitely like precious and priceless?
Well, can that sneeze come back on me, or is it just like a general mishap? Like I'm completely across the room and I just happen to sneeze and then this mummy falls over and breaks.
That's a good-looking question.
Happens, to hell with history. I don't care.
Yeah, you know what? I think
who cares?
I think I would avoid it for that very thing. Plus, it would get pretty old because sometimes it might be like a stupid like bobblehead or a drink but eventually it's gonna be my TV and it's like, all right, ha ha ha. Eventually it's going to be, the $300 KitchenAid mixer falling to the floor and shattering. Okay, ha ha ha. Like, at some point it ain't going to be worth it.
I've blown this entire $1 million replacing TVs that I sneezed on.
Exactly.
I would say no. I'm a no on that one.
Plus, my wife is going to be like, every time I sneeze, she's going to be like, don't fucking do it. Because it's going to be hurt every time. Don't do it. Do not fucking sneeze. I will come over there and I will plug your nose so it comes out your ears. Do not do it.
And plus, the way Beef sneezes, it's already hilarious.
It's also true.
It is absolutely hilarious.
Fall down whenever I sneeze anyways.
Bitch ass!
That'd be a great question for Vince McMahon because he never sneezes.
That's true. He hates sneezing. All right. Let me think here. I'm trying to think of one off the top of my... Oh. $1 million, but every time that you want to wear a hoodie or a jacket, it becomes autonomous, and you have to chase it down and catch it to put it on. That's one that came from the mind of Poot right now.
I'd say yeah, because most of mine are confined to my house, and I could get
Catch
you in
them?
the house.
Catch the hoodie ransom.
Catch the hoodie Ritz.
I can get it. If I want to put the old Boba Fett hoodie on, it's going to be in the closet. So I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to open the closet up and prepare for tackle mode.
It has the strength of a full-grown man, and it will resist you.
Oh, dear. Well, I'll just wear a lot of sweaters, I guess.
Jacket, okay, any outerwear. Any outerwear. Jackets, sweaters,
so that's
hoodies.
Like pants and shirts?
Well, no, pants. No, you know what? No, just seasonal wear. We'll say top, like coats, sweaters, hoodies, things like that.
Oh.
I like this one. I'm imagining my Ireland hoodie just like zipping around.
You know the time that you're like, all right, we got to be at the movie in 10 minutes. Let's go. And it's like 15 degrees out, and the hoodie's like, nope, fuck you. See you later, bro. Like, that's a pretty big inconvenience for the rest of your life for $1 million.
See, I'm going with the poot glowing PP logic on this one. Like, I'm sure I could pay somebody to make me a very warm undershirt. To where if it's like, hey, I'm late for the movies, I don't have time to wrestle my jacket to the ground.
Ransom
I'm
just
good
walks
with this
around with
warm
like 7
undershirt.
shirts on. He's like,
I'm good with this one space super warm undershirt. I'm good.
The fucking idea that you'd live in a world where that would be a concern. Oh, I'm gonna be late to the movie. I don't have time to wrestle my jacket.
Friends be walking around like fucking Joey from Friends, but they put on all of Chandler's clothes. Like, just,
I'm wearing everything I own.
Oh my god.
I mean,
I'd do it.
I would go no, because it would be comically ill-timed every single time I needed it to be timed, so no.
All right, I got one for you.
All right.
You get $1 million, but every time you fart, a fireball comes out of your ass, and you hear Ryu from Street Fighter go, Hadouken!
Oh, sold. Sold.
This is
absolutely sold. It's like a superpower.
This is one of those marching band questions again, like, yeah, it sounds real cool until you realize that you fart 87 times a day.
Now, if it's a smaller,
the fact too that like you could be sitting on the toilet for a poop, and either before or after your poop, you fart and it blows your toilet bowl apart.
Now,
there is that.
Let me ask this question: does the size and intensity of the fireball increase and decrease with the size of the fart?
Nope. It's like a standard Hadouken from Street Fighter 2.
Oh, that's
same size fireball every time. So if you've got a little tweaker, you're gonna hear Hadouken. And
see,
fireball comes out.
I like the idea of Hadouken. I like the idea of that. No. If it's one universal like big dumb Hadouken, no, never mind.
No, I would not do it either, because I know at some point I would get hit with the fucking shuriken. So no, thank you.
Or Brittany, where you're laying in bed and all of a sudden in your sleep you fire one off, and there she goes blasted across the room with a Hadouken.
Yep. No, thank you. I got one for you, gents.
All right.
No.
$1 million, but you can never play another video game. Old, new, whatever. Cannot do it.
Okay.
I can't?
You cannot. You cannot play another video game. You can watch people play, but you cannot sit down with a controller in your hand and play it.
I do that a lot now. If I also had $1 million, sure.
Yeah, if I had $1 million, I'd immerse myself in something else. As long as Mike could still play the Nintendo, I'd say yes. I'd do that. I'd give up the video games in a heartbeat for $1 million.
Yeah, I watch a lot of Game Grumps. I watch a lot of like games done quick and stuff. Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think that too, but I also think that, like, in my solitude, I guess not solitude, but, like,
sequestered away in the West Wing.
exactly. You figured, you're gonna get the things out of the way, the car, the bills, etc. And you're going to get to a point where you're like, okay, I got time. And yeah, you're gonna travel, and yeah, you're gonna do stuff, and yeah, you're gonna see things. But eventually, it's gonna be like, you know what? I just want to sit down and play a game. So, to me, I guess it would be a yes as well. But I would definitely have to think about it because at some point, you're right, Ransom. There are a million other things to immerse yourself. So yeah, I would probably say yes as well to that.
I'd do that for $1 million. Good Lord, hell yeah.
Also, as a father, I think to myself, well, that essentially means if I give up video games, my children can get a free pass to college.
Yep.
There you go.
So yes, as a parent, I'll make that sacrifice.
There you go.
Plus, then you can go from being the student to the master. You could then pass on your knowledge of video games to your children. Be the sensei.
Okay. $1 million, but every day when you wake up, there's one. Huh?
I just Hadoukened.
Uh-oh. Let's see. $1 million, but every time you spend $1 of that money, something changes on your body.
So is that like I spend $10 out of that million going to McDonald's, 10 things change?
Okay.
Or is it like every time you
we'll do it more general.
Something changes?
Every time you spend any of that money, no matter what denomination, something changes on your body, but the severity of the change or how drastic the change is more dramatic with how much you spend. So if you spend like $1 getting a pack of gum or something, you might get another freckle on your shoulder. But like if you spend $10,000 putting a down payment on a house, you might your like leg might become an inch shorter.
Now is this like, can this be any sort of like wacky thing? Like, Beef goes and then spends $50,000 on a mansion and he grows a scorpion tail.
No, it's not.
Like, is it insane stuff like that, or or like suddenly I get a panda head?
You know what? We'll go absurd. We'll go absurd. Like, we'll say yes.
Okay. How does it last forever?
We'll say it lasts until you spend that same denomination of money. So if you spend $50,000 and you get a panda head, you have to then spend another $50,000 to have the panda head go away, but
and something else
changes.
So essentially what you're saying is you'll have stuff happen to you until you spend the last cent of that million, and then
you're stuck.
Whatever has happened to you, or you're stuck, or it goes away.
You're stuck. Like, it's kind of like a roll of the dice. You could end up with just like, oh, my pinky finger's a little bit longer. Wow, I really got... Or you could just like be rolling out of your room screaming, I'm a monstrosity.
All right, I would say yes, because if it's determined on the severity on the amount that you spend, I would make sure the very last thing I spent was a penny. So that, like, even if I had a panda head, I'll spend 1 cent and I'll get like an extra freckle or something, or my pinky will get like, a centimeter longer. So I'd do that. I just had to calculate it out. That way I knew the last part of that million I spent, I'm going to get stuck with that last thing. I'm going to make it the smallest, and I'm going to spend a penny. That way the permanent thing that sticks with me is going to be very minute.
Okay.
I would say no, and here's why. Because anytime we're talking random, it's fucking random, and you know, it could be as something as, you know, inconsequential as the size of my nostril changes, or my beard turns a little bit more grayer, or it could be something as odd as, you know, one of my arms becomes the size of Brock Lesnar's arms. Only one of them. So I mean,
but the severity is going to depend on the denomination of money you spend.
right.
So I'm banking it on the thing that's going to end up being permanent for me is going to be the very last portion of that million I spend. So if the severity is based upon the denomination you spend, if you spend a penny, whatever you had before, your big Brock Lesnar arm is going to go away. It's going to be something, even though it's random, it's going to be something super small because you're going to spend a penny of it.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then yeah. But I thought it was like, so if you spent, you know, like $100,000, and like, you know, you suddenly had segmented eyes, you had to then spend another $100,000 to get that to go away, but something as equally as drastic happened to you. So basically, there was no like easy way out of it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I thought.
That was what I was going for, but I was letting you run on that strain, Ransom.
Oh, so if that's the case,
yeah,
I would say no.
Okay.
Because I'm eventually going to spend a portion of that money that's going to be a big chunk. And I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to roll the dice and go, well, I've got a panda head for $50,000. So I'm going to keep spending $50,000 until I get something that I like and just chance it that that last $50,000 is going to be a good one. So I would have to change my answer to no then.
All right. I'm also a no because I'm already a hideous monster. All right, one last one before we call it a night. $1 million, but once a week for the rest of your life, randomly at any hour of the day, you get super kicked by the Young Bucks, by Nick and Matt Jackson. Randomly, once a week at any hour of any day.
Oh, that's a hard no.
I'd do it.
Why, just so you could hang out with the Young Bucks?
No, because they're always fucking calling their spot because you know it's going to happen about 5 seconds before because you hear super kick. Every fucking time they do
if you're in a dead sleep, even if they give you a 5-second warning, you're not going to be able to wake up in time to get your wits about you and get a hand up to block it.
No, whatever.
Like you're gonna take one laying on your side to the face.
Whatever.
Oh.
It's a super kick a week. I've taken worse from you in college, so.
Oh well. Yeah, but that's every week though.
Well, it was every day for fucking. It felt like 10 years.
How dare you?
Listen, I still roll to your house and I get flare chopped all the time. So yeah, I do it because I'm not making any money now.
Let me pose this scenario to you. 2 scenarios. Thank you all for joining me here today. I know you all loved my father as much as I loved him as well. He was a good man. He was thorough. He was very intelligent, and we're all really gonna super kick.
Oh.
Also, you're in flagrante delicto with your significant other, and right in the middle of it, you get a super kick right in the chops.
I'm a definite no on that. Not because of the possible super kick to sex face.
Super kick to sex face.
Like I don't want to be in a deep sleep and then
those sound like skateboard moves.
Just wake up in time enough to go, oh no, wham.
I say yes, only with the addition that once they hit it, the fucking like meat sauce media theme has to play, and they do their stupid pose, super kick party, for like 3 seconds, and then they're gone.
No, it would. It's the whole shebang.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, I do it. I do it for sure.
Oh, no way.
I'd fucking never work a job that I hate at the end of my day in my life. I'd buy a nice house. I'd buy a nice car. I'd work odd jobs here and there, and if it meant taking a super kick every once in a while, yeah, you know.
Listen,
These things happen.
It's not a worked super kick. They're legit kicking you in the mouth.
It happens. Listen, man.
Look, have you ever been kicked in the mouth? It sucks.
I have fallen down a set of cement steps and busted my arm, ankle, and head at the same time. I have passed out on my kitchen floor with no given warning. I think I'll be okay.
Duly noted. I'm also a no, because I can't even fathom how bad it would just be, like a waking nightmare all the time, just waiting for it. Because it's not like when you're not looking, they come into your house and go, "Hey man, it's time for the super kick." They just literally phantasm out of nowhere and just super kick you, and then they're gone. Like it could be bad. What if you're on a nature hike in the middle of nowhere and they just out of nowhere super kick you? You're knocked out. Bear comes along, eats your ass.
Oh dear.
It could be nightmares. But dudes, this was a really fun episode of Breaking Kayfabe.
Hey, I got one more real quick before we wrap this up.
Okay.
This is one more, and this is along the lines that you just said here, Poot. You get $1 million, but every time you spend a portion of that $1 million, you have to give one of your loved ones a steel chair shot. Now, to give a little bit more detail, you get to pick which one of your loved ones you give the steel chair shot to, but it can't be the same person until you've gone through all of your loved ones. So if Beef's like, hell yeah, I'll do it because I love my buddy Ransom, so every time I spend $1 million, I'm going to give Ransom a chair shot. No, you can start with me, but then you have to move on to somebody else the next time, and somebody else the next time. So if you're spending their $1 million in increments, you got to think about which one of those loved ones you're steel chair shot to. But if you spend that $1 million in one fell swoop, you only have to hit one of your loved ones one time with that steel chair.
So what constitutes spending it? Like if I go and I put this $1 million on a CD, that's technically spending it, right?
No.
Well, no, you're investing it. But
okay.
When that money comes out of that CD and you use it, it's not whatever's gained. It's just that up to that $1 million.
Okay.
So if you're spending it a little bit of a time, you're whacking a lot of your loved ones. And it can't just be me every time. You've got to rotate. But if you spend that $1 million in one fell swoop, so you go and you're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to spend this $1 million. I'm going to buy a $1 million house. You're whacking one person. But you're also spending that $1 million in one fell swoop on one thing.
Three major purchases.
I'm sitting here doing the math, trying to think of how many, because eventually I'm going to run out of people.
It's not going to be a rock chair shot to Mick Foley's face. It's going to be a chair shot like in WWE now, where you're going to hit him in the arm or the back or the leg. If that's any comfort to you. You're not smacking someone in the face with a chair.
I have enough people before I would get to my mom, dad, or sister that I think I could make that work and clear that $1 million. I would do it.
I agree. I think I have enough friends who are, would take the fall.
Take the brunt.
As it
take
were.
the brunt of your chair shots.
Exactly. But before I got to my, in fact, there are some that I would relish, so they would jump to the top of the line, and then. I didn't say you. My brother's probably high up there too.
I know what you meant.
My brother's pretty high up there too. There are members of the extended family that have annoyed me at one time or another. So it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe they take a chair shot for their time, and I get a Corvette. So
I can tell you 3 of the people that's going to come first for Beef: Mark, Poot, me. I'm going to get a knock on my door one day and be like, "Hey man, I spent $25,000. Where's your chair? I need to borrow it." Oh, here it comes.
Oh, see,
no. You see, you know what would happen, and this is the God's honest truth. For you, I would show up at your house, and you'd be like, "You've done it, haven't you?" I go, "Yep." You turn around, super kick, Young Buck super kick, and then I hit you with a chair shot.
Oh, shit.
I'd spend your portion of the money hiring the Young Bucks to super kick you out of nowhere so that I could then deliver the chair shot.
You dickhead. I'm going to throw this money away just so I can double hurt my...
Super
You're
kick!
the worst kind of person.
It's the he'd spend $1 million just to appear on AEW to make that happen.
Exactly.
Like, have it be live on TV. I spent $1 million to make this happen. Super
Right,
kick!
this one just came to me. One last one. I promise I'm done.
Okay, alright.
You get $1 million, but every time you make a decision in your life, any decision, big or small, I'm going to put on a pair of pants or I'm going to put on a pair of shorts. It's something, as small as that, or I'm going to choose this career over that career. It doesn't matter. Anytime there's a decision to be made in your life, you have to roll a 10-sided dice.
Oh.
If you get the 10, or if you get the 0, if you get the 10, well, whatever decision you're going to make is going to work out very well. Or if you roll a 1, if your decision is, well, I'm going to put on pants or shorts, you're going to wind up, wearing a T-shirt on your underneaths. Or you try to put on your shorts and your friend comes out of the ether and scares you and you fall and break your ankle.
Okay, because literally we did this one time in high school, didn't we, Beef?
What?
We did this. Didn't we take a day where we like rolled for everything we were doing?
At least a portion of the day, yes.
Yeah.
I do kind of sort of remember that, yes.
And I remember it being absolutely hilarious. I would do that.
Oh my.
Because,
So,
again, self-deprecating humor, I roll kind of like a lot of 3s and 2s. So,
here's the thing, though. Like, every single decision you make. For example, I had to decide what size plastic bag I wanted to use when bagging up my taco meat from tonight. If I roll a 1 on that, suddenly my pie safe falls over and everything crashes to the ground.
do I want to have burgers or hot? Do I want to have Arby's or McDonald's tonight? 1, shit sandwich it is.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Oh.
Like,
Or
watch
if you wind up putting your hand in between 2 pieces of bread and you bite your finger off.
Right.
Variety is the spice of life. I'd do it.
Oh, dear God.
I would not, because I've seen enough botches in my day. Poot, you've come up with enough terrible, awful, life-altering botches in your stories.
Dude, listen. I also, one of my botches created the best thing ever.
That is also true.
Okay? Look, a botch brought about one of the funniest fucking items and most useful items I've ever come up with in any of my gaming.
Which one was that?
The best thing ever, okay, it was when I told Buckethead Land in Lock Haven. Buckethead Land's a story that I told in Vampire. And there was a the
For all of you uninitiated, we're talking about nerd tabletop
stuff.
gaming. Go ahead,
So
Poop.
the 2 guys, my friends Justin and Dan, who we will henceforth call Jachik and Butters. Jachik and Butters, their characters were searching around a warehouse, and Jachik rolled. He rolled a bot. He botched. I think it was just a single botch. They were looking for a certain MacGuffin I had come up with, and I said, "You didn't find that, but you found this weird container, and it has like a green goo inside of it." And
You're a green goo.
It just said, "Oh, hi, Tom. You came in right at the end." And
She said,
so he he looked at it and he said, "What does it say on it?" And I said, "It just says the best thing ever." And he was like, It's a jar of green goo." And I was like, "Yeah, it's jar of green goo. It's the best thing ever." And so he opened it up and he took it out and it was like gack. You remember gack?
Mm-hmm.
Nicola, it was that. And I said, "Okay, here's the thing about this item now. It will basically be a utility tool. Like if he needed a walkie-talkie, it's a walkie-talkie. If he needed a knife, it was a knife. But it had to be for utility purposes. You couldn't use it for like combat, right? If he needed night vision goggles, it was night vision goggles. It was the best thing ever. However, it had an addictive property to it. It was like kind of like the ring from Lord of the Rings. A lot of power, very useful, very addictive. And later down the road, he let Butter's character use it, and I said, "Now you're addicted to it too." So he gave it back begrudgingly to Jacek, and later down the road, I made them roll initiative to fight each other over the best thing ever.
Oh my gosh.
So I sometimes botches can work out for the better? Question mark? So that's why I'll say yes. Let's get Tom to weigh in on this. Ask Tom the question, and then we got to wrap this up because I got to go to work tomorrow.
You said you were a no?
I am a no.
Okay.
I have a quick
Tom,
question about this for Poot. While you made them fight for the best thing ever, were you playing the greatest song in the world, Tribute?
I was not.
Okay. If the situation ever arises again, that's a must. But go on.
You know what? Because we had mentioned it, if we ever decide to game and your introduction is a story with me doing a one-nighter, you never know. Maybe you'll run into the best thing ever, Tom.
Nice.
So, Tom, you're familiar with like tabletop gaming.
A little bit, yeah.
So, if you roll a 10, if you're rolling with 10-sided dice.
This is in a D10 system.
Okay.
Right. If you roll a 10, that's a ultra mega super success.
Yeah, like a natural 20.
Yeah, you're gonna get whatever you wanted and more.
Okay.
If you roll a 1, that's a dramatic fail.
Yeah.
So not only are you gonna not get what you want, something crazy is gonna happen.
Right.
So my scenario was, you get $1 million, but every decision you make for the rest of your life, no matter how big or how small, whether you're going to have a peanut butter sandwich or a jelly sandwich, or, whatever the case may be, big or small, doesn't matter. Every decision you make for the rest of your life, you have to roll a 10-sided die. If you get a 10, something amazing happens. If you get a 1, you get a dramatic failure and something super bad or super crazy can happen.
And now this is the $1 million is only a one-time thing, right?
Right.
Then no. Not worth it.
So,
If it was
you, me, and B for no. Poots.
Oh,
For punishment,
absolutely.
so he says yes.
Absolutely. Bring it on.
That is the story of that is the fucking story of Poot's life, a glutton for punishment.
Just roll the die.
Hey, look, man. Sure. Maybe if I decide, let's see, I'm gonna go buy a car. Do I want to buy a truck or do I want to buy a nice sedan? One, you go. It is, I suppose.
Smart car.
Or smart car, or
a jalopy 97 Corolla.
But then again,
Or you were
it
the
could be
Mexican driving
then
a tractor around.
Then again,
Or what if
then
it's
again, or okay.
I was gonna say, worst case scenario, what if it's the car from like Knight Rider? Like, what if it's a car that has its own mind that's just gonna run people over?
Oh, Kit? Yeah. Oh, you mean Christine? You mean like
exactly?
Well, fuck it. Then I'll figure it out. That's Future Poot's problem.
That's future
no,
Poot's
but
problem.
then the other thing is too. It could be, oh, look, Iron Maiden's coming to Pittsburgh. I'm gonna. Should I buy tickets or shouldn't I? And I roll the die and I get a 10 and I buy the tickets and they go, oh, you've been upgraded to backstage passes. And I go on there and I chit-chat with someone about, like, music and guitar stuff, and they go, oh, why don't you come on out and play Wrathchild with us?
Yeah, but then you're going to have to roll the dice again, because should you or shouldn't
Yes.
you?
Oh,
You're gonna
yes.
make a
The answer is
decision on
yes.
Whether or not you're gonna.
The answer is
So you can
absolutely
say,
yes.
I'm going to roll the dice again, but you get a 1, so you get out on stage and you wind up breaking all the strings in your guitar and pooping your pants.
Yeah, but there's
Like,
no
that's a bad
decision
night.
there. They go, hey, do you want to come out and play Wrathchild? Yes. There's no decision there.
Well,
Nah.
Well, he says.
No, there's no.
Every decision, no matter how minute or how.
I know, and I'm telling you, there's no decision. If someone said, do you want to play Wrathchild on stage with Iron Maiden, the answer will always be yes.
Oh,
If
Jesus.
someone asks you if you want to play Wrathchild with Iron Maiden,
And you say yes.
Even if you don't know how to play guitar, just say yes anyways.
Yep.
yeah, right?
Because
Cool.
because you rolled a 10, if you're like, oh, I don't know how to play guitar, should I go do this? And you roll it and you get another 10, you go out there and you're like, wow, I can play guitar.
Yeah, you're rocking it out.
Yeah,
Jesus.
you just managed through it. But well, guys, and Tom, I'm sorry you just showed up right at the tail end here, but we really got to wrap up.
No worries, man. No worries at all.
We've been going along in a tooth, so I'm going to steal Poot's spot and say we've been going along in a tooth. We hope everybody's enjoyed this episode of Breaking Kayfabe, and we're going to be back in 2 nights with a WrestleMania review on the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast. And that's going to be an interesting night because there's probably going to be some arguments between me and Beef.
Spirited debates, we'll call it.
Spirited debates. You know what? I want Poots, no, I want Beef's, I want him to explain to me that Firefly Funhouse match. And maybe if you explain it to me, maybe I won't be so negative about it. But we'll leave that. We'll leave that for the actual P3 podcast.
ooh, a cliffhanger.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, cliffhanger. There's another good one. $1 million, but